Imagine applying for your dream job. You've worked hard, built your resume, and nailed every qualification. You hit submit, and seconds later, rejected. Not by a human, not by a manager who even read your resume, but by an algorithm. An algorithm that decided you weren't a good fit because of your age, your gender, or even the neighborhood you live in. This is the dark side of AI no one likes to talk about, algorithmic bias. While companies brag about how AI will make decision-making more efficient, they conveniently ignore the fact that these systems don't operate in a vacuum. They reflect the data they're trained on. And our data? It's full of the biases, prejudices, and inequalities of the real world. So when companies unleash AI into hiring, lending, policing, or healthcare, they're not creating fairer systems. They're automating discrimination at scale. The illusion of objectivity, executives love to sell AI as objective. Unlike humans, machines don't get tired. They don't hold grudges. They don't judge by skin color or accent. At least that's the theory. In reality, algorithms are like mirrors. They reflect back whatever we feed them. And when the training data is biased, the algorithm becomes biased too. It doesn't matter if the bias is intentional or not. Once it's in the system, it gets amplified. What looks like objectivity is really prejudice hiding in math. When AI turns against us, the evidence is everywhere. Amazon once built an AI hiring tool. On paper, it was brilliant. Scan resumes, identify the best candidates, streamline recruitment. But the system had a problem. It downgraded resumes that included the word women's, as in women's chess club captain or women's college. Why? Because the training data reflected a male-dominated tech industry. The algorithm learned that male equaled successful. In lending, researchers found that AI models trained on historical data were more likely to deny loans to minority applicants. Not because they weren't creditworthy, but because the data reflected decades of discriminatory banking practices. Even in healthcare, algorithms designed to allocate resources underestimated the needs of Black patients, because the data used to train them relied on historical healthcare spending, a number already distorted by unequal access. In every case, AI didn't eliminate bias, it turbocharged it. Scale makes it dangerous. Here's why AI bias is so dangerous. Scale. A biased human manager might unfairly reject a few candidates. A biased loan officer might deny a handful of applicants. But a biased algorithm, it can reject thousands, maybe millions, in seconds. Bias that was once local and limited becomes global and systemic. And because it's hidden behind math, it's harder to detect, harder to challenge, and harder to fight. It's discrimination disguised as efficiency. The corporate blind spot. So why do companies keep using biased AI? Because it serves their short-term interests. Automated hiring saves money. Automated lending cuts overhead. Automated policing makes for good PR. And when bias is exposed, companies claim ignorance. We didn't know. The algorithm just learned from the data, but ignorance doesn't erase responsibility. When companies deploy AI, they inherit its biases. Pretending otherwise is just corporate hypocrisy. Legal and PR fallout. The fallout is already here. In the US, regulators are investigating biased AI hiring tools. Lawsuits are mounting against companies whose algorithms discriminated in lending or housing. The European Union is drafting strict AI regulations that could cost companies billions in fines for biased outcomes. And then there's public trust. Customers don't like being treated unfairly. Employees don't want to work for companies that hide behind biased machines. Once the headlines hit, the algorithm is racist. Reputation damage is almost impossible to undo. AI bias isn't just an ethical problem. It's a financial time bomb. The hidden feedback loop. There's another danger most people don't realize. Feedback loops. When a biased algorithm makes decisions, those decisions create new data. That new data then trains the system again, which means the bias doesn't just persist, it grows. A policing algorithm that over-targets certain neighborhoods leads to more arrests in those areas, which reinforces the algorithm's belief that those neighborhoods are high crime. A hiring tool that favors men fills companies with more men, which makes future training data even more male-dominated. The result is a vicious cycle where inequality compounds and the system looks more confident with every iteration. The existential question, who decides? At its core, AI bias forces us to confront a bigger question. Who do we want making decisions about our lives? Do we want flawed humans with all their prejudices and emotions? Or do we want machines, flawed in different ways but far more opaque and far less accountable? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. AI doesn't remove human bias. It just hides it behind algorithms, spreadsheets, and code no one fully understands. And when decisions that shape our futures, jobs, credit, healthcare, even freedom, are made by systems we can't see or challenge, that's not progress. That's a new kind of inequality, one we may not even realize until it's too late. The way forward. So what's the solution? It's not as simple as banning AI, nor is it as simple as fixing the data. The real solution is accountability. Companies that deploy AI must be held responsible for its outcomes, just like they would be if a human manager made those same decisions. It means transparency, showing how systems work, what data they use, and how biases are being checked. And it means humility, recognizing that not every decision should be automated, that sometimes human judgment, flawed as it is still better than blind algorithms. AI was supposed to make us fairer, smarter, more objective. Instead, it risks locking in the very inequalities we've been fighting to overcome. Because the danger isn't just that algorithms are biased, it's that we believe they're not. That we trust them blindly while they quietly replicate the worst parts of us at a scale we've never seen before. So the next time a company brags about its AI-powered hiring or its smart algorithms, ask yourself, fairer for who? Smarter for who? And most importantly, who pays the price when the algorithm gets it wrong? Because in the age of AI, discrimination hasn't disappeared. It's just been automated. Have you experienced AI bias? And how are you positioning yourself to leverage AI to mitigate any future AI-driven career risk? Get our ebooks to see how AI can transform your small business or side hustle. See links in description below. If you want more information and guidance on how to win in the digital economy using AI, join our school community to connect with our team of digital economy experts and the community of enthusiastic entrepreneurs.